Hello students, welcome to Royal Palace online classes. Today in electric fields and charges, let us discuss the Gauss law in detail. Gauss law in detail from PUC level to JEE advanced level. Let us discuss. This is one of the fundamental law in electrostatics, where we can't apply, means where we feel inconvenient to apply Coulomb's law, we can apply Gauss law. Gauss law is used to find electric fields for extended objects. If you see our previous videos, we have used integration method for finding electric field due to disk, electric field due to ring. By using Gauss law, if there is an infinitely large sheet, so yesterday in our last video I told that electric field due to a large sheet is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. That we will prove now. I will get sigma by 2 epsilon naught by using Gauss law. So before learning Gauss law, students should know the meaning of electric flux. Already you came across a flux in first year physics, that is fluid flux or liquid flux. So what is the meaning of flux? Is electric flux is defined as the dot product of electric field and areal vector E bar dot A bar. See, this is the meaning is, suppose there is a electric field moving in x axis like this. Suppose there is electric field like this. Electric field is equal to, let us take E naught I cap. It is along x direction. Now, if you keep one area, you can keep one plate. Like this. These are the electric field lines which are coming. If you keep a plate like this, these electric field lines will hit this duster. So this part you can observe here. These electric field lines are going to hit this. These are electric field lines, they are going to hit. The number of electric field lines passing through unit normal area is called electric flux. So here it is very simple. Let us assume a water flux is coming out here. Let us assume a water flux is coming. You can assume that a water flux is coming here. Assume that there is a pipe. Which is giving a jet of water. Assume that it is giving a jet of water. Now I want to make this piece wet, means I want to make this piece to touch with water. So in order to make that, I have to keep this area which is perpendicular to this water jet, Suppose if I keep this area like this, assume I kept like this, water will not touch my surface. The surface should be perpendicular to this water, then only it will touch the surface, and finally this duster will get wet. Suppose if I keep like this, there is no water lines will hitting this duster. That means assume, now come back to electric field. There is electric field. If I keep like this, so if I keep this duster, in the movement of that water flux, water is deposited on this. Some water will get deposited, some water will get wetted. So because of that, suppose if I keep a duster, this duster in electric field, what happens? Some charge will get deposited on this, because electric field lines are touching this. Some charge will get deposited on this, and this will get charged. Some charge is taken up by this. The number of electric field lines passing through the unit normal area is also called electric flux, and it is calculated as E bar dot A bar, and electric flux is a scalar quantity. And If you take the magnitude of this electric flux magnitude, if you take, electric flux is equal to Ea cos theta, Ea cos theta, and here theta is angle between E bar and A bar, where A bar is called areal vector. Then what is the direction of areal vector? Areal vector is the cross product of length into breadth or breadth into length. So areal vector is, suppose if you consider this is area is present in the plane of the board. The value of area is, if the radius is r, it is pi r square. But if you take the areal vector direction, that is different. Areal vector direction is perpendicular to the plane containing the area, perpendicular to the plane containing the area. This is areal vector direction. It is either coming towards you or entering into the board. When plane, suppose this is area, if you want this areal vector direction, it is perpendicular to the plane, because you already know in vector product, if C bar is equal to A bar cross B bar, C bar is equal to A bar cross B bar, C bar is perpendicular to A bar and C bar is also perpendicular to B bar. That means it is perpendicular to the plane containing both A and B. So therefore it is Ea cos theta, and areal vector is perpendicular to the plane. So when I keep the plate like this, I want to make a plate to be charged, I kept like this, then areal vector direction will be, this is the areal vector direction, perpendicular to plane. This is present in YZ plane, then area will be in X plane. And while applying Gauss law, you have to take outward area, outward normal, not inward normal. This will have both two areas are possible, direction, one is outside, another one is inside. You have to take outward normal. That is the meaning of electric flux. If you keep the area at certain angle, then flux, you have to take the normal of this and you have to take the angle. This is the normal, this is the angle between E and A. Then if you apply, you will get the flux. Flux will be 0 when areal vector is perpendicular to electric field. That means area is parallel. That is the second case. When I keep my plate like this, water is not at all touching. So this is the definition of electric flux. Now what Gauss law says? How can we apply Gauss law? What Gauss law says is, it is going to say that electric flux through a closed surface, electric flux through a closed surface is equal to charge enclosed in that surface divided by epsilon naught, Q inside divided by epsilon naught. Then what is the meaning of this? Suppose there is a surface, assume there is a sphere, closed surface, assume there is a sphere. Within this sphere there are some charges Q1, Q2, Q3, and there is another charge Q4. The flux passing through this, that means electric field lines passing through this surface is equal to, flux is equal to charge inside, that is Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 divided by epsilon naught. This is the meaning of Gauss law. It is independent of flux passing through the surface, is independent of charge which is present outside. But electric field on the Gaussian surface will depend upon all the charges. This is very important point in Gauss law. See, they may ask one question here. I will take a point P on the Gaussian surface. The Gaussian surface on point P, what is the net electric field on point P means, what you can say, it is electric field due to Q1. Let us take electric field due to Q1 as E1 bar, electric field due to Q2 as E2 bar, electric field due to Q3 as E3 bar, electric field due to Q4 as E4 bar. Then what is the net electric field at B? What is the electric field at B if they ask? It is sum of all the four. But what Gauss law says, flux passing through this surface area only depends upon the charge inside, but not electric field. Electric field on the Gaussian surface will depend upon all the charges which are surrounding that point. So that is the important point here. So according to Gauss law, charge inside by epsilon naught. Okay. Then how to apply this Gauss law? How to apply this Gauss law? How to apply this Gauss law means, suppose I have a charge q in a free space, in a mid-air a charge q is there. I want to find the electric field at a point P due to this charge. Now what we can do? We can complete one circle. We can complete one circle. We can create one sphere of radius r. Whenever there is no Gaussian surface around the charge, Gauss has given you a facility to construct your own Gaussian surface, and you can name it as Gaussian surface. You can create a Gaussian surface of radius r, that is Gaussian surface of radius r. Then according to this, you can calculate the flux passing through this Gaussian surface. Flux passing through the Gaussian surface is Ea cos theta. And if you see the aerial vector direction here, you take a small part, this is aerial vector direction, these are the electric field lines. Electric field lines are always radial, therefore flux is equal to E into A, because it is cos 0. So flux E into 4 pi r square is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Then electric field is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. Now suppose if you want to find electric field due to a spherical shell, there is a spherical shell carrying a charge q. Okay. Now if you want to find electric field at a point r whose radius is capital R, at a distance r whose radius is capital R, such that small r is less than capital R. That means you are selecting a point inside the shell. When you select inside the shell, if you observe here you have to construct the Gaussian surface. If you construct the Gaussian surface, there is no charge present inside the shell, because charge is the property of matter. Wherever matter is there, there charge is there. Here there is no matter only, it is a shell. Inside, you are staying inside. So inside there is no charge, therefore electric field will be equal to 0. If you want to calculate outside, then here you have to create the Gaussian surface. Then E into, it is a sphere, so sphere of radius 4 pi small r square is equal to charge enclosed by epsilon naught. If this charge enclosed you write in sigma, where sigma is equal to Q by 4 pi r square. So this you can write E is equal to Q by 4 pi small r square. This Q you can write it as sigma into 4 pi capital R square by epsilon naught. 4 pi will get cancelled. Sigma capital R square by epsilon naught small r square. Sigma capital R square by epsilon naught small r square. Electric field is proportional to 1 by r square. Electric field is proportional to 1 by r square. If it is on the surface, if this is the condition where capital R is greater than, small r is greater than capital R, if small r is equal to capital R, then what happens? It will get sigma by epsilon naught. If you take a graph between the variation of electric field, it is 0 up to small r is equal to capital R, then afterwards it decreases. This is for a shell. Suppose if you take a solid sphere, if you take a solid sphere, you take a solid sphere, in this solid sphere, if you want to calculate electric field inside, here it is not zero, because in solid sphere matter exists inside this sphere also, therefore electric field is not zero. You have to construct a Gaussian surface inside whose radius is small r, and E into 4 pi small r square is equal to charge present inside Q inside by epsilon naught. Charge present inside is, if you take volume charge density as rho, rho is equal to Q by 4 pi 3 pi r. The surface, if you take only surface, sigma is equal to 4 pi capital R square. If you substitute that, then what is the charge present? This is the total sigma value. What is the charge present in this area? In this surface area only you have to find the charge. Total charge is sigma, that is Q by 4 pi r square. You have to calculate in this area only. So that is how we can calculate. Charge is Q for total surface area 4 pi r square, and you take this as Q dash for the surface of 4 pi small r square. If you divide these two, you will get Q dash is equal to Q into small r square, by capital R square. Q dash is equal to Q into small r square by capital R square. So E into 4 pi r square, is equal to, what is the charge present inside? Charge present inside you can calculate. Charge present inside is, this is the charge present inside. If you take sigma value, if you take rho value, you will get this is Q r cube by r cube you will get. So just take, if you take the sigma value, sigma is volume, so it is proportional to r cube. Sigma into Q r cube by capital R cube. So r square and r cube will get cancelled. Then E is proportional to r. That means here it is not 0, it is proportional to r. And afterwards, when you are coming outside, again you will get same formula, it is proportional to 1 by r square. When you are taking outside, total charge is present outside. So therefore, when r is greater than capital R, then what the formula you will get is sigma E into 4 pi capital R square, small r square, is equal to charge enclosed is total charge is enclosed, sigma into 4 by 3 pi r cube, sigma into 4 by 3 pi r cube by epsilon naught. So it will be proportional to 1 by r square. This is the difference between solid sphere and hollow sphere. And still many applications are there based on Gauss law. Suppose if a charge q is placed at the center of a cube. Suppose if a charge q is present at the center of a cube. A charge q is present at the center of a cube of side length a, then flux passing through each face will be equal to, total flux is q by epsilon naught. Cube is having 6 faces, flux passing through each face will be equal to q by 2 epsilon naught, q by 2 epsilon naught, q by 6, because 6 faces, q by 6 epsilon naught. Suppose if the same question is asked like this, if a cylinder is placed, a hollow cylinder is placed in a electric field, E is equal to E naught I cap as shown in the diagram, then flux passing will be equal to 0, because flux entering into the Gaussian surface, you have to take negative, because this is the aerial vector direction, this is A, this is the direction of E, you will get minus EA, and this will become plus EA, total flux will become equal to 0. You can remember that the flux entering is negative, flux leaving is positive, flux leaving is positive. So these are the some of the concepts regarding Gauss law. It is having still more applications are there. Let us see these applications in the next class. Thank you everyone for joining me.